Break an arm or a leg and you could be up and about within a few weeks, but fracture your skull and your life's in danger. And that's why we're all encouraged to wear a cycle helmet.
The market town of Skipton is known as the gateway to the Dales, for good reason. For millions of motorists heading out of Yorkshire's big cities, this is where the hills and the jams begin. Luckily for the locals, the town has a busy bypass, leaving its shopping streets relatively quiet. But today, one local has been the victim of a serious accident on it.
It's a bit of a murky Sunday morning. We've been called out to a road traffic collision out towards Skipton at the junction of two major A roads. It's a cyclist and a car. There is an off-duty paramedic on scene who says there is some serious injuries involved in this. So based on that limited information, we've deployed on it.
63-year-old Margaret Rouse was out on her bike when she was involved in a collision with a car. She's badly hurt.
It's not the best at the moment. We're just trying to go way down the valley, but sort of quite low cloud, a little bit murky as well here and there, so we're just hoping for the best. See how we go on.
They're heading to a roundabout that was the scene of an identical crash last year. That cyclist almost died.
Typical fences.
There is lighting stanchions all the way around this roundabout.
Motorists, including an off-duty nurse, have already begun Margaret's treatment. She wasn't wearing a helmet, and it's feared she has a fractured skull.
As far as we gather, lady on a push bike is coming around the roundabout. Another lady in a car coming out of the roundabout has pulled out and clipped her. Lady's gone over the handlebars, hit her head on the floor. No loss of consciousness as far as we know, but she does have quite a head injury, so she needs to be lifted to the LGI.
Margaret lives nearby and had nipped out for a spin on an early spring weekend. Now she's confused and showing signs of a serious head injury.
Secured it somehow, aren't we? We've got two RRVs on scene, the ambulance is a fair way away. Al's just going to get us a spinal board and some further equipment, and then we're going to immobilise us. Just a matter of caution, really. She's got quite a nasty head injury, so we're going to deal with that, and we'll pop her into the LGI and look at it. It's an isolated head.
Paramedic Daz knows this case is serious. They'll dress her wound, but she urgently needs an X-ray and scan in hospital.
I've got you, Margaret, I've got you. Are you all dizzy?
This patient's got a head injury, and although there's no evidence that she's damaged her spine, with a head injury, we'd always immobilise just as a matter of caution to be on the safe side.
Are we ready? 2, 3, and lift. Okie doke. We're going up that banking.
The holiday season is stretching local emergency crews to the limit. The nearest available ground ambulance was in Todmorden, 25 miles away. Its crew have done well to arrive so quickly.
Where else should we go now? LGI. Leeds.
Margaret's husband Paul was enjoying a line at home when his granddaughter told him about the accident. He's rushed to the scene.
She just came up to me and said, you know, Margaret's had an accident on a bike. You know. I were in bed. I was still in bed.
Wearing a helmet could have prevented Margaret's injury.
Because we live on the main road, and most of the bikers coming past, they all have helmets on. I keep saying, put your helmet on, put your helmet on. But she said, no, it irritates me, you know. It falls over my eyes and I can't see anything. You know, it's...
Well, Margaret,
It annoys me so much.
we've said so many times, wear your helmet. Honest, you might have sort of got a few bumps and grazes, but you wouldn't have bumped your head, would you? So, when you get back on your bike, you're going to wear your helmet? You sure?
And this isn't the first accident Margaret has had on her bike.
I've had a few accidents. You wouldn't believe what I did. It were a bit softer road than this. I cycled in Canal.
You cycled into Canal?
Yeah.
Were it not day?
No.
No.
It was January.
That's not good, is it?
I did a good job. I could swim.
I bet you got out a lot faster than you got in.
Outside of work, paramedic Al Day is a keen walker, climber and cyclist. He, more than anyone, knows the importance of wearing protective headgear.
I wear a helmet for anything really. I wear a helmet when I'm skiing as well, which not many people do, but I just it's too many head injuries not to really.
Most patients are flown direct to the nearest hospital, but Margaret's injuries are potentially so serious she's being taken to the regional trauma unit at Leeds General Infirmary, an hour's drive away. When Margaret is seen by specialists, it turns out she's had a lucky escape. Although she's had to have many stitches in her head, scan reveals she hasn't damaged her brain. Margaret's head is very tender, and she's kept overnight in hospital for observation. But the following day, doctors say she's fit enough to leave. Her husband Paul is coming to collect her and take her home.
I can remember screaming and flying through the air, and then the next thing I know I was on the floor and people were around me immediately. Well, my head was hurting, but I didn't have any pain anywhere else, it was just my head, back here. And I was really more frightened of the traffic going past. I thought, I don't want to be run over while I'm on the floor.
Margaret knows she should have been wearing a cycle helmet. Her reason for not doing so doesn't sound very convincing.
For some reason, I don't know if it's when you get older, things irritate you more. And I'm trying to itch my head, you know, with the helmet on, which is not much good. And that's why I haven't worn it, you know, basically.
7 weeks later, and now it's the perfect weather for cycling in the Yorkshire Dales. Despite her bad experience, Margaret is determined to get back on her bike. But her husband Paul is insisting she now wears a helmet.
He said he won't allow me to go out unless I have a helmet on. But I wouldn't argue with him at all, because I myself wouldn't go without a helmet now, ever. Every time I see someone without a helmet, I do actually feel like saying, get a helmet on. I don't know what happened to me, you know, but I keep my mouth shut.